Hello and welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if you're new here. My name is Jillian, and I'd love to get to know more about you. So share who you are down in the comments below. For this September, which is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, I've decided to take the channel on a new journey, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about the lessons I've learned from my healing journey from suicidality and almost dying from an eating disorder, anorexia nervosa. I wanted to read to you today an article I wrote because I do often feel I express myself better in writing and feels right today to read this article with you. So it will be an article from Kevin MD, and he titled it, "I Risked My Career to Save My Life." It was an article that I wrote in February of 2022. And up until that time, I had spent 5 years isolating guilt and shame as I had been medically discharged from the military after seeking mental health support. I didn't know I'd still be around, and I started writing in order to get the life lessons out that I felt others needed to hear, just in case. And I am still here, which is fantastic. And I'm hoping to help other people to not only stay alive, but create a life worth living. And so I will share with you this article as it was kind of a catalytic event that helped me to release myself of guilt and shame, as it brought so many people into my life who could relate to the pain I was experiencing and offered me that I wasn't alone. All of the judgment I thought I was going to get for sharing this part of my journey, I never received it, at least not to my face. But instead, what I did get and what I did gain was a wonderful community of supportive humans. And they helped me to feel seen in a way I didn't even know I needed. So I share my story in hopes that if you need to hear it, that you need to be seen, that you can relate, you can let me know. So here I will go. I'll read it now, and I'm going to share the article link down in the description below. I risked my career to save my life. Early into my military career, and as an oral and maxillofacial surgery resident, I started to acknowledge the fact that during periods of sleep deprivation that were initially inherent to the military training hours and then surgery call requirements, I found myself thinking dark thoughts that I had never experienced before. I scheduled an appointment with a psychiatrist and diagnosed with depression. Scratch that. I was diagnosed with high functioning depression. High functioning depression. It seems like an oxymoron, but I didn't question it. I wasn't ready to question it. My brain didn't let me question it. To admit that I was anything other than high functioning felt like a threat to my dental, medical, and military careers, reputation, identity, and ego. At the depths of depression, I even censored myself in my mental health appointments, concerned to reveal that I was anything other than high functioning. However, it has become increasingly apparent that not talking about hard things means that we are risking our lives, often due to the tremendous psych ache that develops from the pressure and energy it takes to preserve our careers and image of perfection while sacrificing basic needs such as sleep, nutrition, exercise, and community. So here I go. talking about hard things in hopes that sharing my experience will help others and provide encouragement to share their voice as well. Even if sharing your voice means privately in a mental health appointment. Reflecting on my experience, sleep deprivation was a main factor that led to my mental health decline. While waiting for an operating room to become available, I still recall a night when I asked my upper level resident if everyone shared the same dark thoughts, signs of severe depression that I had while on call. It was my first subtle cry for help, surrendering to admitting that there was a problem. And it was scary. My mind did not feel like my own. Up until that point, I was embarrassed to admit I was struggling. I knew no one loved call, so I tried not to complain. I was embarrassed that I was exhausted from sleep deprivation. I was embarrassed for craving the basic needs of a normal, functioning human: sleep. Additionally, my judgment was compromised when in the depths of depression and exhaustion. I thought I had to continue on the career trajectory that I committed to on paper or end my life. I could not see another option. My brain was hyper focused on risks of letting people know that I was not okay. Then one day, I had a plan to end the pain. And at that moment, I thought, this is no longer about saving my career. This is about saving my life. At that moment, I finally surrendered. I called my military program manager and said, I think I need to take a medical leave. He replied with compassion and understanding. When? I said, days or months ago, but I'll settle for now. The next day, I was on a medical leave. I risked my career to save my life. I risked my career to save my life. Saying like that, it should have been a clear decision. However, the truth is, at that moment, it was anything but clear to me. When we are put into high pressure positions to look and act perfect, with fear that a misstep may end our career or taint our reputations, that depression may cloud our judgment and the ability to see what really matters most in our life, our lives. The outcome? I saved my life by risking my career. Though I did end up getting medically discharged from the military. The discharge means I can speak without fear of losing the career I was so desperately trying to save. It means that I can initiate the hard discussions in hopes that talking about it will help others to see and get help when their world is dark and their options feel limited. If you're there and you need to hear it, nothing in your career is more important than your life. Nothing. Nothing in your career is more important than your life. Nothing. I'll say that as many times as it takes to make it true for you. High functioning depression meant that I was minimizing what I was experiencing secondary to depression, and functioning highly until I could barely function at all. Ultimately, I reconstructed my career to recover, starting with permitting myself to pivot, as discussed in another article, Recovering from Burnout, Permission to Pivot, which will also be shared down below. I have spent years in silence about my career decisions, nervous that my inability to take call and inability to thrive while sleep deprived could be seen as weaknesses. Being afraid to admit I was advocating for my mental health in my life. That's a problem. I'm experiencing fear for advocating for the health and safety of myself and others, for concern that I may sound weak. That's a big problem. Silence is not the answer. Avoiding talking about it is not the answer. I cannot avoid call hard enough for prolonged sleep deprivation to be less of a problem for others. So let's keep talking. Physicians need sleep. The system needs to change. Many are not okay. That was one of them. We need to normalize talking about hard things and creating environments that promote psychological safety and the ability to truly ask for help, not censor our struggles in mental health appointments to save face. And if you need to hear it, it's okay to crave basic needs and to advocate for them. You're a human, not a robot. We need to create a system made for humans, not robots. If you're having dark thoughts now, please seek help. While the best time may have been days or months ago, the next best time is now.